Hey, Bernie Strom, first one into the ballpark. Don't know which ballpark it's gonna be. How you doing tonight, Bernie? Hope you're doing well. Hey, it's IB Beazles. There's Carlos Yaz. How are you, Carlos? Good to see you. Wait to see if cousin Ken comes in. That'll determine whether we do 19th century or dead ball. So he's got to be happy. I hope everybody. Bernie says he's doing great. Good to hear it. Hope everybody, whoever you're rooting for in the postseason, won today. I was kind of happy. Everybody I'm rooting for. Well, I'm rooting against Milwaukee, so I'm glad Arizona won. I'm not necessarily rooting for them, but yeah, the other teams. Glad to see those teams winning. So that was good stuff. And Carlos Yaz says he's doing pretty well. All right, so we're gonna give it a couple more minutes here because I'm loath to do this 19th century game until or unless Ken Castro comes in, because this is two pitchers that he would like to see and two teams matching up here. The 1875 Red Stockings, 1884 Grays. There we go. He says, hell of a night, Red October. He's happy. Cousin Ken happy. Yeah, it was a good night. It was a good night. So keep it going forward. And I never thought I'd be rooting for the Arizona Diamondbacks for anything, but certainly rooting for them in the postseason to at least get rid of the Milwaukee Brewers. So, yeah, I was really happy looking at the scores at work. And it was like, nice. So, everybody I wanted to win tonight, but it's only game one. So, Cousin was waiting for you. I didn't know if you wanted a 19th century game or a dead ball era game. So, for the 19th century, the only one we have left on this day is the 1875 Red Stockings versus the 1884 Grays. Cal McVeigh versus Old Haas. And then in the dead ball era, 1916 Robins versus the 1906 White Sox, Rube Marquardt and Ed Walsh. So, and also 1919 Reds, 1913 Senators. So there's three games we can choose from one of the three here. I'm sure you guys have had your fill of baseball today, but just wanted to come on and do a game or whatever. Marquardt Walsh. All right, that sounds good. So we'll autoplay the other games at the end. All right. So it will be the 1916 Brooklyn Robins against the 1906 Chicago White Sox. Rube Marquardt takes the hill for Brooklyn and be countered by never have your fill. There you go. Be countered by Ed Walsh. So Brooklyn 1-0 in the season, Brooklyn 0-1 on the season, and the Chicago White Sox 1-0. Let me just fix up the ballpark here for the White Sox and just see what it's going to look like. Make sure everybody's got the high socks. That's important. All right, looks good. And let's look at the ballpark and set the angle. All right, let me see what we got here. Do I have it above third here? I probably don't. Of course I don't. So let's see if we just give it a little turn and come in and drag it back and turn. All right, let's see if that will work just for now, because I like this look. I like this look a lot. All right, let's save cam, create new. Yeah, above. All right, above third. There we go. All right, save this, and we'll go to Southside Park. All right, let's go. All right. Yeah, it's been a long day, cuz what can I say? All right, for the 1916 Brooklyn Robins, Jimmy Johnson, Jake Daubert, Zach Wheat, Hall of Famer, one of my favorite players, Casey Stengel, George Cutshaw, Lou McCarthy, Ivy Olson, Mike Mowry, and Rube Marquardt. Marquardt 1-0 on the season with an ERA of 2. a whip of 0.89, 3 strikeouts per 9 innings, 1 walk per 9 innings. For the hitless wonder, 1906, Chicago White Sox, Frank Isbell, Bill O'Neill, George Davis, Fielder Jones, Billy Sullivan playing hurt, Lee Tannehill, Gus Dundon, Frank Hemphill, and Ed Walsh. Big Ed Walsh 0-1 in the season, but look at that ERA, 1.12, whip of 1. Striking only 1.1 batters per 9 innings, kind of interesting. 4.5 walks, so Walsh not exactly sharp, but we'll see what comes of it here. So let's set our new one above third, and we'll see how that all works. I hope that in the next version of of Out of the Park Baseball that they allow camera adjustment real time. That would be really, really, really nice. All right, Southside Park. Attendance 2,203. It's partly cloudy. It is cold here today in Chicago. 34 degrees and a wind blowing out to right at 9 miles per hour. Brr. And of course, oh, okay, that looks pretty nice actually. Let me fix the sound here for you guys and for myself. Oop. All right. So, just for point of history, and this does not mean inviting any political what have you, but an historic day in American politics. First time a Speaker of the House has ever been removed. Not a political statement, an historical observation. That is it. So, interesting times we live in. All right, enough of that. Let's get to what is important, and that is baseball. Jimmy Johnson will lead it off here for the Brooklyn Robins of 1916. They make their first trip to the World Series in 1916. Wouldn't return again until the 1940s, but then known as the Dodgers, were put together some amazing teams. All right, Johnson just 1 for 12 in the season, hitting .083 as Big Ed Walsh, the famous spitballer and Irish tenor, finishes his warm-up pitches. And as we do a little zoom around Southside Park here in Chicago, we're ready to go. Big Ed Walsh to deal. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy Johnson shows bunt. And this one just fouled at home plate. The count 0-2. Jimmy Johnson trying to get on very quickly here. Ed Walsh deals to Johnson, the wind and the pitch. Johnson swinging away. This one line drive to center field. And making the fine catch out there is Fielder Jones. So one away now for the first baseman, Jake Dauber, off to a hot start. He's hitting .462, 6 for 13 overall. Clinton Parks. This is finally a decent game between two powerhouse pitchers. All right, Walsh into his wind and the 1-2 or the 2-1 pitch, and Dauber lines this one into center for a base hit. So Brooklyn gets the first hit of the ball game here in the top of the first with one away. And here's Zach Wheat, Hall of Famer Zach Wheat. And let's move this up here just a little bit. There we go. All right. So Jake Dauber with speed at first, and tonight, the player that we're going to highlight every once in a while, we are going to do Hall of Famers, and it will be Zach Wheat, who still holds some Dodgers records. So Zach Wheat will be our player of note, and we'll get to him when he comes back up again. Ed Walsh ready to deal to the lefty, checks Daubert at first. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Zach Wheat. Big swing and a miss, and Ed Walsh coming in there with the fastball. So two away for... He's a very young professor at this point. Casey Stengel. Stengel hitting just .182 with a run batted in. Daubert leads off first. Walsh has the sign. Here's the delivery. Stengel swings. This one fly ball left field, measuring up and making the catch is Bill Hemphill, and that does it. So the Brooklyn Robins, no runs on a hit, no errors, and a runner left. We go to the bottom of the first. The Robins nothing, and the White Sox coming to bat. Rube Marquard finishing his warm-up pitches. The lefty, he will gain most of his fame, of course, had gained, I should say, with the New York Giants. Let's have a look here at Marquard, the Hall of Famer, just very, very quickly, as a pitcher. So played for the Giants and was a Three-time 20-game winner right in a row for these for the New York Giants, 1911, 12, and 13. Of course, a rotation mate, if you will, of Christy Mathewson. He would leave the Giants in 1950, be traded to Brooklyn, play for these Robins, and then he would go to Cincinnati, and in 1921 would finish his career in 1925. So overall, Rube Marquardt, 201 wins, 177 losses, a 3.08 earned run average, struck out 1,593 batters. Or I'm sorry, yeah, 1,593 batters, walked 858, so very much a control pitcher. So, and just again, looking at just his basic stats. All right, back to it now. Leading off here, Frank Isbell. Isbell hitting .417 with 4 runs batted in. The southpaw Marquardt has the sign from the catcher Lou McCarty. Here is the 3-2 pitch to Frank Isbell. Lefty swings. This one come back to the mound. Marquardt feels it off the bump and fires on to Jake Daubert for out number 1, retiring Frank Isbell. And here is Bill O'Neill. O'Neill off to a .417 start with a run batted in. Again, early in the season, these batting averages will go down, of course. The 2-2 pitch from Marquardt to O'Neill. And O'Neill swings. This one, a little blooper to third, and Mike Mowry is there to make the catch. So 2 up, 2 down for shortstop George Davis, hitting .273, 3 for 11 overall. Marquardt with the 1-1 delivery to Davis. Davis showing bunt and misses the count 1-2. Marquardt winds and fires. Davis swings away and scorches this one into center field. Line drive, base hit. So first hit here for Chicago. So these teams tied at 1 hit each, and it brings up the center fielder, Fielder Jones. What a name, huh? 0 for 4 on the young season. Marquardt with the 0-2 delivery. Fielder Jones swings and lines this one hard into left center field. And that's going to go all the way to the Chancellor Cigar sign. And he's going to stop at second. Fielder Jones with an RBI double, and the hitless wonders out to a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. So Ken Castro says he ate too many nachos during the Phillies game. All right. All right. That's all right. It's all about baseball. Fielder Jones with good speed at second. Chicago with a run in. And here's Billy Sullivan. He's 2 for 5 with a run batted in, hitting .400. Want to say thank you to Clinton also for he keeps sending me these awesome box scores. Loving all of them. So thank you, Clinton. Marquardt deals. And this one is going to get away from McCarty, and that's going to be a wild pitch, and Fielder Jones will move to third. So the count now, 2-2. Marquardt to Sullivan. Sullivan bloops this one to center field, and that's going to hang up there in that wind. And coming down to make the catch is Jimmy Johnson. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and a runner left at third base, Fielder Jones. And the hitless wonders lead 1-0 as we head to the top of the second here in Southside Park in Chicago, Illinois. Love the Fatima Cigarettes sign out there and all the cool advertising in these neat old ballparks. Yes, Ken Castro says the professor does a good job with his games. Indeed, he does. Love those box scores. All right, George Cutshaw will lead things off here for Brooklyn in the top of the second. Cutshaw will be followed by McCarty and Olson. Cutshaw hitting just .182 with a run batted in. Ed Walsh has fanned 1 thus far. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Cutshaw swings, and this one is high, and this one deep, and this one is going to bounce off the Chancellor Cigar signs. And going for 3 is George Cutshaw, and he will slide in head first with a leadoff. Triple on the 0-2 count. So Brooklyn looking to tie things up here, make this a very short-lived Chicago lead. We're just in the top of the second. Lou McCarty, a very, very cold 0 for 12 for him. Walsh eyes up McCarty, now has the sign from Billy Sullivan, working out of the stretch. The 0-2 pitch, McCarty, big swing and a miss, chasing that fadeaway out of the strike zone. So Big Ed Walsh picks up strikeout number 2. And Ivy Olson will come to the plate. He's the shortstop here for Brooklyn. Olson hitting .400 with a run batted in. Walsh out of the stretch, the 2-1, and Olson will send this fly ball center field. This has some depth. Making the catch out there is Bill O'Neill, and coming in to score is George Cutshaw, and Brooklyn 1916 ties it up here. It's now 1-1. Mike Mowry comes to the plate. Mowry 3 for 9 with a run batted in, hitting .333. 2 down, bases empty, 1-1 your score. Big Ed Walsh winds and deals. Mowry swings, gets good contact on this one. This went into right field all the way to the wall, and Mowry will round second. Mowry's going for third. The throw hits the cutoff man, the slide, and the tag, and Mowry with the 2 out. Triple. So Brooklyn bringing the bats today. Third hit in the game for them. And it brings up the pitcher, Rube Marquard, 0 for 3. Ed Walsh deals to his mound opponent, the 1-1. Marquard swings. This one grounded deep to short. This should end the inning. And indeed it does. Davis making the throw on the first to retire the Robins. But they pick up a run on 2 hits, no errors. And a runner left in scoring position. And they tie it up. 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the second. Lee Tannehill will lead things off. Gus Dundon and Frank Hemphill for the 1906 Chicago White Sox. Tannehill, 0 for 10. Marquard into his wind. Here's the 1-2. Marquard swings, and this one, a hard grounder to short, and this one dropped by Ivy Olson. So unable to come up with it cleanly, and the official scorer will award Lee Tannehill an infield single. All right, so these teams tied at 1-3-0. And here's Gus Dundon now. Dundon, 2 for 11, 182. Lee Tannehill, pretty good speed at first. Marquard checks the run to the lefty, deals the 1-2. Gundon swings, and this one, a flare to center field that's going to get down for a base hit. And the hitless wonders are hitting. Moving to third is Lou Tannehill on the play. 4th hit for the Chicago White Sox, and it brings up Frank Hemphill. Hemphill, 4 for 11, a .364 average. Runners at the corners, Lee Tannehill at third, Gus Dundon at first. The 0-2. And the runner goes, and the throw down, and Dundon is thrown out. So McCarty is now 5 for 7 and gunning runners down. So 2 away, Tannehill at third. And here comes Ed Walsh. Walsh 0 for 3. 1-2 pitch to Big Ed. Walsh swings, and this one grounded to first. And taking it to the bag himself is Jake Dalbert. So 2 runners in the inning. But the Chicago White Sox do not cash in. We head to the top of the third. We are knotted at 1. Clinton said he enjoyed the Phillies game. All right, Jimmy Johnson 0 for 1 in the game. Big Ed Walsh has fanned 2 thus far. Here's the 1-0 delivery to Jimmy Johnson, who lined out his last time up. Johnson will ground it on 1 hop to third. Lee Tannehill gloving it and firing across the diamond in 1 nice easy throw. 1 up, 1 down on the 5-3 put out for Jake Dalbert now. 1 for 2, and then Zach Wheat will be up next, and we'll pause to talk about Zach Wheat, Hall of Famer. Ed Walsh deals. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Dalbert. And Dalbert lines this one hard into center field. This will be another player we'll be talking about at some point in the season. Jake Dalbert makes the wide turn at first. So base hit, and now Brooklyn and Chicago once again tied in scores, hits, and no errors. So we're going to go to Zach Wheat here, and this is somebody that I would hope the Dodgers fans know about. Zach Wheat, excellent. I don't hear him talked about too much. I consider him a forgotten Hall of Famer in a way. So, we're again, for YouTube's sake, and fair use copyright, this is the Biographical Encyclopedia of Baseball that I'm using for my for these readings, if you will. All right, this is a rather long one as you expect for Zach Wheat, so enjoy it. I'm going to click off the game, so no, actually, we'll just leave the crowd talking in the background. Why not? All right, here we go. Zachary Davis Wheat. He was born May 23rd, 1888 in Hamilton, Missouri. He died March 11th, 1972. In Sedalia, Missouri. He made his debut in the major leagues September 11th, 1909. He batted left through right, 5'10", 170. Zach Wheat was a line drive hitter, but under the right circumstances, he could put the ball into the stands. New York Giants manager John McGraw figured those circumstances existed whenever Wheat and the Dodgers visited the Polo Grounds. McGraw knew the left-handed hitting Wheat handled curveballs as well as any hitter in the league. He was also well aware that the distance down the right field line was less than 260 feet. McGraw was convinced that Wheat would jerk any breaking ball down the line for a homer and ordered his pitchers not to throw Zach Wheat a curveball. One day, Giants pitcher Jess Barnes whipped two quick strikes past the Brooklyn left fielder. For some reason, Wheat knew the next pitch would be a curve. Wheat says, "I hit the ball way back in the upper deck," he said later. "I knew it was a homer when the ball was hit. As I was running to first, I could hear McGraw shouting, 'Barnes, you blankety blank pinhead, that'll cost you $500. Zachary Davis Wheat was born in Missouri in 1888 when the passions of the Civil War still ran high. His name was the Declaration of Neutrality by the Wheat family. His first name honored United States President Zachary Taylor. His middle name honored Confederate President Jefferson Davis. Nonetheless, his last name resulted in the inevitable nickname Buck. So Wheat played semi-pro baseball in Kansas and then signed with Shreveport of the Texas League in 1908. He hit only .268 and moved on to Mobile of the Southern League in 1909. Although the batting average fell to .246, he was signed by a Dodger scout, prompting Brooklyn president Charles Ebbets to grumble, "That's the trouble around here. We have too many .246 hitting outfielders." The scout promised that the rookie would hit, and the remaining 26 games of the season, Wheat batted .304 for the Dodgers. From September 1909 through 1926, Wheat was the regular Dodgers left fielder. For years, a sign on the outfield wall at Ebbets Field proclaimed, quote, "Zach Wheat caught 300 flies last year. Tanglefoot Flypaper caught 10 million, end of quote. The only change from season to season was the number of Wheat's putouts. He hit 300 or more in 14 seasons and roamed the outfield with speed and sure hands. In 1917, Baseball Magazine said, quote, "Tris Speaker may be the greatest outfielder in the world, but Zach Wheat is the easiest, most graceful of all outfielders," end of quote. His only weakness was his delicate ankles, and he suffered numerous sprains. In the early 1920s, a New York newspaper asked its readers to select the city's most popular player. At the same time that Babe Ruth was rewriting home run records for the Yankees and Frankie Frisch was leading the Giants to 4 straight pennants, the paper's readers chose Zach Wheat. When Wheat first joined the team, Brooklyn was mired in the second division. The Dodgers won the pennant, of course they were the Robins, as we know, in 1916 and again in 1920 under manager Wilbert Robinson. Both times, Brooklyn lost the World Series, first to Boston in 5 games, and then to Cleveland in a wild 7 games that included the only unassisted triple play in series history. Zach Wheat hit only .211 during the 1916 series, but he hit .333 and led all batters with 9 hits in the 1920 series. So my apologies, I forgot about Brooklyn's appearance in the 1920 series, guys. Anyhow, between the 2 pennant seasons, Wheat won his only batting championship in 1918, although it required an executive ruling to make it official. The ground rules for eligibility for the title were unclear, and the season had been shortened because of the First World War. Wheat finished at .335 in 105 games, and Billy Southworth of Pittsburgh hit .341 in only 64 games, while Ed Roush of Cincinnati hit .333 in 113 games. National League President John Heidler declared Wheat the winner of the title. Once described as 165 pounds of scrap iron, rawhide, and guts, Wheat was quiet and soft-spoken off the field. On the field, he often argued in umpires' calls, but he always knew when to stop and was never thrown out of a game. He was a smart ball player, but one day in Brooklyn, he missed a bunt sign on 2 consecutive pitches. In exasperation, manager Robinson pantomimed a bunt witnessed by everyone in the park. To foil the play, the opposing pitcher delivered a high inside fastball. Wheat stepped back and knocked it over the fence. Despite his offensive prowess, Wheat's personal favorite baseball moment was a fine defensive play. On May 1st, 1920, the Dodgers and Boston Braves were tied 1-1 in a 26-inning marathon, the longest game by innings in Major League history. At one point, the Braves had runners on first and third with two out when the batter singled to left. Every other outfielder would have fruitlessly thrown home, but Wheat grabbed the ball on the bounce, fired it to second, and got the force out before the man on third crossed the plate. Late in the 1926 season, Wheat hit his last National League home run. As he rounded first base, he pulled a muscle so severely that he was forced to stop and sit down at second base. Rabbit Moranville came out to run for him, but was waved away. Wheat rose after a few moments and walked the remaining 180 feet to home plate. Brooklyn released Wheat after the 1926 season. He signed for 1 year with Connie Mack's Philadelphia Athletics and showed he still had something left by hitting .324. He then played 82 games for Indianapolis of the American Association in 1928 and retired. Wheat had 4 hitting streaks that stretched at least 20 games, including a career-best 29-gamer in 1916. After leaving baseball, he served in the Kansas City, Missouri police force until 1936, when an accident in a patrol car forced him to quit. Later, he ran a fishing camp. He was named to the Hall of Fame in 1959. When he died in 1972 at age 83, Casey Stengel, who played with him in the Brooklyn outfield, said, I quote, "Zach Wheat was the only great ball player who was never booed," end of quote. So what a great story about a great player, somebody that I admired, and something I never knew about Zach Wheat. Never ejected from a ball game. That's something. So I know a lot of people have been saying they like these little readouts of players. So there you go. All right. So anyhow, let's get back to it. All right. So Zachary Davis Wheat is 0 for 1. Jake Dahlbert on at first. Ed Walsh deals. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Wheat. And Zach Wheat sends this one deep center field off the wall. So Zach Wheat, we talk about his hitting prowess. There we go. That's going to be an RBI triple for Zach Wheat. So there we go. Our player of note comes through after that wonderful article. So it's now 2-1. And again, guys, I strongly suggest picking up the book, Biographical Encyclopedia of Baseball. You can get it for like $7, $50, $8 on eBay. What a great book it is. All right, so 2-1. Brooklyn leads here with 1 down. Zach Wheat at third, thanks to the 3-bagger. Casey Stengel in there now, 0 for 1. Imagine that he was voted the most popular baseball player in New York above Frankie Frisch and Babe Ruth. How cool is that? All right, Ed Walsh deals. Here's the 1-0, and Stengel sends this little fly ball out to right field, and making a nice catch on that is Bill O'Neill, and hits Frank Isbell, the cutoff man, keeping Zach Wheat at third. Here's George Cutshaw, has himself a triple in this game. 2 down, 2-1 Brooklyn lead. Walsh comes home with it. Cutshaw swings. This one grounded to third, and up with that one is Lee Tannehill, and he'll go to first for the final out of the inning. But the Robins pick up a run, and they jump into the lead 2-1 as we head to the bottom of inning number 3. Carlos Yaz says, I just read up on Rube Marquard and Walsh and Saber. I do enjoy the knowledge gained on every game of the read-ups on these players. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so much fun to learn about these players, and I'm glad people are doing that and also liking the way I'm doing it on the channel as well. All right, back at the top of the order now for the Hitless Wonders, and Frank Isbell. Isbell in this game is 0 for 1, so Marquard enjoying a 1-run lead. We'll see how that goes, how long that lasts. I think we have us a seesaw game coming here, baseball fans. Marquard with the 1-1 delivery. Isbell grounded out last time, and this time lines a base hit into left field. All right, so the speedy Frank Isbell aboard, and here is Bill O'Neill. So the right fielder is 0 for 1. Isbell leads off first. Marquard with the 1-0 delivery. There goes the runner. Bunt back to the mound. Marquard's only play will be to first. So sacrifice successful. Isbell was off with the pitch. So runner in scoring position for Chicago, and it brings up the shortstop, George Davis. He is 1 for 1. Lefty-righty matchup. Marquard with the 1-1 delivery to Davis. Davis swings, and this one a slow roller to third. And the throw across the diamond, they get Davis by a step. Frank Isbell will move to third on the play. 2 down for Chicago. And Isbell represents the tying run, and Fielder Jones strides to the plate. 1 for 1 today with a run batted in. Marquard out of the stretch, and the 1-1 pitch. And Fielder Jones smacks this one hard to short. And Ivy Olson has the ball, but unable to make the throw. The infield single, it's an RBI by Fielder Jones as Frank Isbell comes in to score, and we are now knotted at 2. It's going to be one of those games, baseball fans. All right, speedy Fielder Jones on at first. Here's Billy Sullivan, who is nothing for 1. Marquard deals home, and the runner goes, and here's the throw to second, and McCarty not able to get Fielder Jones, so he picks up his first steal of the season. Runner in scoring position now. Billy Sullivan back in. The 1-1 pitch. Sullivan swings. This one just a little soft liner out into center field, and coming in and making the catch there is Jimmy Johnson. So 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, a runner left, and we are knotted at 2 runs apiece as we head to the top of the 4th. 1906 White Sox hosting the 1916 Brooklyn Robins. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the game. All right, Lou McCarty will lead things off here against Ed Walsh and the White Sox. Then Ivy Olson and Mike Mowry. All right, McCarty nothing for 1. Ed Walsh with 2 strikeouts thus far. And the spitballer with the 1-1 pitch. McCarty swings, and this one's going to get down into right field for a base hit. McCarty couldn't have thrown it in a better spot. So he'll hold first, and that is hit number 6 for Brooklyn. So again, these teams tied up in runs, hits, and no errors in this game thus far. Ivy Olson has an RBI in this game. Walsh deals, and Ivy Olson gets a nice bunt down the first base line, and the sacrifice will move Lou McCarty to second. So runner in scoring position now for the 1916 Robins brings up Mike Mowry. He is 1 for 1. McCarty average speed at second. Walsh peers over his right shoulder, checks McCarty at second, comes home with a 2-1 pitch, and Mike Mowry has singled, this time tripled his last time, but Mowry will pick up the RBI, and Mowry's going to get into second with a double. So the RBI double, and the 1916 Robins recapture the lead. It is now 3-2. We'll have another quick look at that one as this game is moving along at a nice clip. And there we go. And this one's staying in the line where it needs to be. And safe at second. All right, so Brooklyn was scoreless in the first, scored 1 in the second, third, 1 here so far in the 4th. Chicago's runs came in the 1st and the 3rd. All right, Mowry in scoring position, and Rube Marquard steps to the plate. He is nothing for 1. Mike Mowry has wheels. Walsh comes home with it. The 1-2. Marquard swings. Fly ball, center field. This one has depth back, and this is going to go all the way to the wall. Rube Marquard picks up an RBI. Marquard is going for 3, and the head-first slide in time. Marquard has an RBI 3-bagger, and now Brooklyn, a little safer margin here. It's 4-2. Carlos Yaz says he grew up on Tannehill Road, which is named after some relation to the Tannehills that played baseball. Yeah, a few Tannehills. Jess Tannehill, of course. I'm guessing that's probably the one, was Jesse Tannehill. All right, Rube Marquard at third. Here's Jimmy Johnson now. Nothing for 2. Still 1 out. Ed Walsh from the stretch in the 1-0. Jimmy Johnson swings, and this one, line to left, base hit. Jimmy Johnson picks up the RBI single, and he will hold it first. And the Robins now busting it open here in the top of the fourth, plating 3. It is 5-2. Ed Walsh, as we said, not looking too sharp this season. A 1.12 earned run average, but his strikeouts per 9 innings only, I think it was 1.5 or something like that. So Walsh having a slow start. All right, Jake Dalbert, perfect 2 for 2. Jimmy Johnson leads off first. Here's the pitch. Johnson does not go. Dalbert hits this one twisting foul on the third base side in foul territory, and making the catch there is Lee Tannehill for out number 2 of the inning. All right, Zach Wheat in there now, and Zachary Davis Wheat 1 for 2 with a run batted in. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and Wheat swings, and he's going to dump this one into right field. Base hit. Zach Wheat, and going for 3, and this one getting past the third baseman. And coming in to score as the throw goes over Tannehill's head, Bill O'Neill picks up the throwing error. That's E9. Jimmy Johnson will score, and it's 6-2 Brooklyn. Zach Wheat will move to second on the errant throw. Let's have a quick look at that one again. Just a regular replay on this. So O'Neill makes a strong throw from right, but there's just no way. That ball, just the errant throw, and that's going to bite you. Casey Stengel says you can't defend against bases on balls. They'll kill you. Well, you can't defend against an error, or you know, what can you do? All right, here's Casey Stengel now batting with 2 down, and his good friend Zach Wheat at second. Casey 0 for 2. Here's the pitch. Stengel swinging on the 0-2 pitch. Fly ball, this one out to center field, measuring it up and making the catch is Fielder Jones, but the damage has been done. The 1916 Brooklyn Robins, 4 runs on 5 hits. They strand 1. We go to the bottom of the fourth, and it's Brooklyn 6, Chicago 2. This is dead ball, though, so anything can still happen. Carlos Yes says, no, it was like a great uncle that had a flour mill in his area in the 1800s. Seen pictures of it. Okay, because you had mentioned about some relation to the Tannehills that played baseball. Might have been then a son or something. But yeah, Tannehill, a rather famous name in baseball. All right. And here is Lee Tannehill, Gus Dundon, and Frank Hemphill to bat. Yeah, Big Ed is getting moitered here. He's getting moitified, isn't he? All right, Lou McCarty now is 1 for 1. Marquard deals. Here's the pitch. And McCarty swings in the first pitch. This one, line to left, base hit. All right, so Tannehill's aboard, and here's Gus Dundon. And Chicago now has, I thought this was going to be a seesaw game. Chicago has some work to do here. Dundon 1 for 1. Tannehill is off, and the bunt is a good one. Dundon sacrifices, and taking second is Lee Tannehill. So runner in scoring position now. It brings up Frank Hemphill. Hemphill 0 for 1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Hemphill swings, fly ball left field, and this one will get down for a base hit. So Hemphill, the throw into the cutoff man. So that comes into Marquard, and Tannehill will have to hold at third. So runners at the corners now for the Chicago White Sox in 1906, and Big Ed Walsh steps in. Let's look at Walsh as a hitter very quickly here in 1906 and see what Big Ed did. Not a lot. I hit just 141 that year. Did manage 2 triples, though. That's something. All right. Back to the game. Marquard from the stretch. Walsh shows bunt, gets a good one down the first base line. However, this is not going to score a run. It will move the runner up, however. So Hemphill moves to second. They stay out of the double play. 2 down, 2 in scoring position. And we're back at the top of the order for the hitless wonders. And Frank Isbell, who is 1 for 2. Marquard out of the stretch in the 1-2. Isbell swings and punches this one to short. And gloving it is Ivy Olson, and he will go to first for the out. So the White Sox, no runs, 2 hits, 2 left on. We go to the top of the 5th. It's Brooklyn 6, Chicago 2. Yep, not the pitcher's duel I think anybody expected. George Cutshaw will lead it off here for Brooklyn. Lou McCarty and Ivy Olson. Ed Walsh with a 3-2 pitch. Cutshaw grounded out last time, and he's going to draw the base on balls here. So the fadeaway pitch missing by Ed Walsh, and he issues his first free pass of the game. Lou McCarty, 1 for 2. Cutshaw leading off first, the 0-1. The runner goes. This one bunted down the first base line. It will stay fair. And the throw to first is not in time. So Lou McCarty picks up the infield hit. That was a weird one. Let's take a look at that one a little bit more close up. So rolling down the line, looks like he manages to evade the tag. Throw the first, not in time. So 2 on now here for Brooklyn, and that brings up Ivy Olson. George Cutshaw with speed, leading at second base, trailing him Lou McCarty at first. Ed Walsh trying to turn the 2-banger here. Here's the pitch. And the throw down to third and George Cutshaw sneakily steals third base. I didn't even see that one going. So here he goes again. Off with the pitch. Cutshaw in there. Almost a full second before the ball reaches the bag. All right. Ivy Olson back in. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Olson. Olson swings, and this one poked left, and a sliding catch out there in left field by Frank Hemphill. Nice play at third base. The ball quickly gets into the infield, so Cutshaw's got to hold third. Let's watch that sliding catch out there. Screwball and coming in. Beautiful play. Beautiful play by Frank Hemphill. All right. 1 down, runners at the corners. Here's Mike Mowry. Mowry swings, and this one, a polite little fly ball to left, and Frank Hemphill makes the play and gets it in to Ed Walsh. So 2 down, runners remain at the corners, and here's Rube Marquardt. He is 1 for 2, has an RBI triple. And Marquardt flares this one into center field, and right into the glove of fielder Jones. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on. And the Robins maintaining the 6-2 lead over the White Sox as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Sorry, guys, it's not a pitcher's duel. Wish I could script these. All right. Bill O'Neill, George Davis, and fielder Jones due up for the hitless wonders. O'Neill, sacrifice bunt his last time up, swings away, and a flare out to shallow center, and coming in and making the catch is Jimmy Johnson on that 2-2 pitch. 1 down now for George Davis. He is 1 for 2. Here's the wind and the pitch to Davis. Davis swings, and this one, a hard liner to first, and that's going to be an error as Daubert feels it and drops it. So scored in an error, so a little bit of weirdness there by the game, showing it going into foul territory, which of course it won't, so this should straighten things out for us, we hope. Boop. Yep, there we go. So sometimes that will happen. All right. E3, George Davis aboard, and here is fielder Jones now. Davis has speed. Won't be surprised to see him running, baseball fans. Fielder Jones 2 for 2 with 2 runs batted in. Marquardt checks Davis. Davis goes, and here's the throw down to second, not even in time. So George Davis steals the second base of the season, runner in scoring position. Marquardt ready to deal with fielder Jones. The payoff pitch. Jones swings. This one hard hit to short. The only play is going to be to first. Up with it is Ivy Olson, and fires on to Jake Daubert. George Davis at third with 2 away, and Billy Sullivan, who is nothing for 2. Marquardt comes home with it. Sullivan flied out to center his last time. It looks like he's going to do the same thing now. Indeed, he does. Jimmy Johnson makes the catch. No runs, no hits, an error. A runner left at third. The Robins still holding on to the 6-2 lead as we head to the top of the 6th inning. Good night, Clinton Parks. All right, man. Good to see you as always in here. Jimmy Johnson will lead it off here for Brooklyn. Johnson will be followed by Jake Daubert and our player of note, Zach Wheat. The line so far for the Robins, 6 runs, 11 hits, 1 error. For the Chicago White Sox, 2 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. Big Ed Walsh deals the 1-0 delivery to Jimmy Johnson. Johnson swings, wrapped into center field, base hit. Jimmy Johnson will round first and hold as the ball quickly gets into Gus Dundon. Here's Jake Dalbert now. Dalbert 2 for 3. Here's the pitch. The runner goes. Dalbert gets the bunt down. And this is going to be a successful sacrifice. Jimmy Johnson moves to second. And again, this game plays a great dead ball right out of the rip. Gotta love it. All right, here's Zach Wheat. And I didn't... I mean, I did nothing with any of these managers, and it's just these proper tactics. Really, really nice. Gotta love Out of the Park for that. All right. Action PC does all right, but I think you have to adjust it a little bit more. But this one does a good job, man. Does a good job. I think another game that does a great job with dead ball baseball right out of the box is Diamond Mine Baseball. All right, Ed Walsh steals to Zach Wheat. Here's the pitch. And quick throw down to third. Trying to steal was Jimmy Johnson, but Sullivan guns down. So he's 2 for 3 now, Billy Sullivan. Quick just replay of that one. They were definitely expecting that fastball coming in from Ed Walsh, and Billy Sullivan up and gunning. So 2 away, bases empty for Zach Wheat. He's back in the box. Here's the 1-1 pitch. RBI single his last time up. Wheat grounds this one to second, and this is going to be an error on Gus Dundon. So E4, and Zach Wheat finds himself on at first base. Second error by the Chicago White Sox in 1906. And here's Casey. Nothing for 3. The 0-1 pitch to Stengel. Stengel swings, and this one just a little roller to second base. No harm, no foul. Dundon up with it, fires to first. 1 hit and 1 error and 1 left on. The Robins do not capitalize. We go to the bottom of the 6th. These teams separated by 10 years in their history. It's the Robins 6, the White Sox 2. Lee Tannehill will lead it off for the Pale Host, followed by Gus Dundon and Frank Hemphill. Remember, this is the team that upset a very powerful 1906 Chicago Cubs crosstown rivals in that World Series. The Hitless Wonders doing it with an amazing pitching staff. Not showing that tonight, but again, early in the season. Bernie says, just a note, tomorrow 1 Eastern on YouTube, the first game of his 1967 World Series, the San Francisco Giants versus the Boston Red Sox from Fenway Park. And he says thanks. So always say thanks. Just say thanks to the chat for coming to see. The reason you have the wrench, Bernie, is to advertise what you're doing, man. Feel free to put in a link to your YouTube channel always as well. All right, Lee Tannehill in there. And Bernie always very good, of course, making the announcements in Discord. So game 1 of the 67 series, I'll catch as much as I can tomorrow with that, Bernie. Looking forward to it. Lee Tannehill leads it off. Perfect 2 for 2 here. All right, here we go. Tannehill swinging on the first pitch. This one rolled to second base in plenty of time for Cutshaw, who fires on to Jake Dalbert for the 4-3 putout. No. Wait a minute. What the hell happened there? Let's go back and see what happened. What happened? What happened? What happened? Bad throw. All right, so we have an E4. It looked like... Yep, I missed that. All right, Tannehill safe at first. Score that one E4. Teams tied now in errors at 2 each. And here's Gus Dundon. Dundon 1 for 1. Here's the pitch. Dundon bunts this one in the air right to first. Bad bunt. Dalbert has it, and they do not double up Lee Tannehill. So Tannehill getting back to first very quickly. 1 away now. Frank Hemphill 1 for 2. The 1-1 pitch. Hemphill slaps at this one. Is this going to get down? It will not, except into the glove of Jimmy Johnson. All right, 2 away. Lee Tannehill remains at first, and here is Big Ed Walsh, who's nothing for one. Here's the pitch. Walsh swings, and this one, fly ball into right center, and Jimmy Johnson, ranging to his left, makes the catch. So the Brooklyn Robins pick up an error, but it does not come back to bite them. We head to the top of the seventh. It's Brooklyn 6, Chicago 2. All right. Bernie putting a link into his YouTube channel. I noticed even the number of views earlier. I was looking. I've got to catch Robert's game on the flip side, but viewership down. So I think the part of us, for those of us doing baseball in October on our channels, especially for me, since it's the only sport I do on here, is just going to be realized viewership is going to be down. People watching baseball all day, and we got the hardcores in here though. So thank you guys for doing the family thing, a la familia, huh? All right, here's Cutshaw now to lead off the seventh for the Robins. Cutshaw is 1 for 2. Big Ed deals the 1-2 pitch. And Cutshaw slaps this one into left field, and ranging in and make the catch is Frank Hemphill. So 1 up, 1 down now for Lou McCarty. McCarty 2 for 3. 1-1 pitch to McCarty. McCarty swings at this one. This one, fly ball out to left field, and Frank Hemphill on the move makes the grab. 2 up, 2 down now for the shortstop, Ivy Olson. 0 for 1 with a run batted in. The 1-2 pitch to Olson. And Olson grounds this to short. This should be a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. All right, let's go to the bottom of the seventh. Keep things moving here. We are 52 minutes into this game, and we're back at the top of the order. Frank Isbell, Bill O'Neill, and George Davis. 6-2, Brooklyn lead. Marquard with the 0-1 delivery. Isbell grounded out back in the fourth, and this one high fly into shallow center, and ranging out onto the grass is shortstop Ivy Olson, and he will squeeze it for out number 1. Bernie said also having a great time doing Out of the Park 1914 offline. He really enjoys Out of the Park baseball. I love it too. Last year I was giving a lot of love to Action PC baseball, which I still love, but I don't know. This game this year has still stolen my heart back. And I still love Action PC, but right now I'm experiencing some issues with it, and Action PC is trying to work with me on it. One of their season files consistently crashes on me, and I'm seeing a lot more crashes this year now in Action PC 23 that I have in past editions, so not quite sure what's going on there. But this game, I have always loved this game since its first iteration in 1999, and this game is so incredibly deep. And again, I will just say what I say so many times. I do not understand why this game is so polarizing. In fact, a knowledgeable YouTuber who I will not mention says that this thing is only good with fictional players. I have been playing this game for so long, and I have seen the opposite actually to be true. This thing can be pretty damned accurate. But it's like baseball. If you're looking for an exact replay in any baseball game, I don't care what it is, you're barking up the wrong tree. It's a what if, as Dave Gardner says, and he's right. All right, anyhow, 1 down, Marquardt deals. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Bill O'Neill. O'Neill swings, and this is a seeing eye single right up the middle. So O'Neill will hold first with 1 down, and it brings up George Davis, and you know there's going to be a bunt here. His role is to be the sacrificer. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and the runner goes. O'Neill is out by a country mile. So Lou McCarty is 6 for 10 now, gunning down base stealers. Base is empty, 2 away. Was really looking for a sacrifice play there. Marquardt with a 2-1 delivery to George Davis. Davis swings away, hard grounder to short, room service bounce, and that is the end of the inning as Cutshaw fields that one. Robins face the minimum. We go to the 8th. It's Brooklyn 6, Chicago 2. And then stay tuned as we'll auto play out the other two games left on this day, a 19th century and a dead ball. And I think that's it. So just two. And Castro said, love that those of us who enjoy dead ball have a home to go to on a nightly basis. Nothing better than this. You always will, Cousin Ken. Yeah, occasionally I do some, later baseball on here, but, I really want this to be home for 19th century and dead ball. I don't do enough 19th century here, but we're fixing that too. Thank you, Cousin. It means a lot. These players, shouldn't be lost to history. And it's even more of my mission now because of another YouTube channel who said that dead ball baseball and indeed 19th century baseball doesn't count. That's a slap in the face to this game's history. Bernie says, it's funny, I used to have a lot of crashes, not so many now. We'll get crashes when I'd click on an action that wasn't correct for what I want to do. Crashes have always been Action PC's problem. Yeah, it can be crashes. Yep. Ken Castro says, these players forgotten by most are so alive to me. Same for me, cousin. Whether I'm reading about them, what have you, playing these games, no matter what the game is, they're very much alive. And, learning the cool things I'm learning about these players, about Joe Kelly the other night and the trick with leaving a ball in the outfield grass, or Zach Wheat, whom I've always admired as a player. And I once said that heaven would be a place where I can see all these things. Well, I also want it to be a place where I can meet these players, even the scoundrels. I want to play a couple hands of poker with Hal Chase if he's up there. And even as a kid, when I first got into baseball, Cousin Ken, I was like, 10 years old, 11 years old. I was already reading about Hannes Wagner and King Kelly and Cap Anson, and I was so fascinated by. So this wasn't something that just came to me. This has been me as a baseball fan all my life. Baseball up through, let's say, up to the 1940s. It really wasn't until later. Yeah, I would follow the regular baseball season, cousin, but it wasn't until later in my life that I actually started getting into, looking at 1970s baseball and to a certain extent 1980s and what have you. So 1970s, great decade of baseball though. Oof. Still got to do some 1960s stuff. I feel like an idiot with that decade. All right, here's Mike Mowry now. He's 2 for 3 with a run batted in. Ed Walsh with a 3-2 delivery. Mowry slaps at this one, and this is going to get down for a base hit into left field. Mowry going for 2, and I should have had the dynamic camera on there. So Hemphill having to get back to the corner on that one. So Mowry with a leadoff double, and the Brooklyn Robbins picking up hit number 13. Yeah, so Carlos says he loves that this channel fits his time schedule, gets off work, and look forward to a baseball game and the camaraderie on this channel. It means a lot. It means a lot. It really means a lot, you guys. Rube Marquard now bats with a runner in scoring position. Rube in the game is 1 for 3, and he's contributed one of these 6 Robbins runs. Ed Walsh deals. Walsh not having a good time out there. Marquard shows bunt, and it's going to be a good one. Marquard, good speed going down the first base line. They will get him, though. The sacrifice will move Mike Mowry into third base. And potential 7th run for the 1916 Robbins just 90 feet away. Back at the top of the order now, Jimmy Johnson, 2 for 4, run batted in. Here's the 0-1 pitch from the stretch. Johnson slaps this one to second. And Jimmy Johnson's going to have himself an RBI sacrifice. And coming in to score is Mike Mowry. It's now 7-2 Brooklyn. I'm going to be going back and doing some MLB The Show every once in a while. I just like to make it clear to people that I'm going to be using those announcers. I don't want to be accused of doing what Legends does or anything like that. So, but I miss once in a while doing MLB The Show. So look for that coming up on the channel every once in a while. Just playing an all-time greats roster. Not meant to be anything like Legends, but I do miss playing it. But I won't announce it until... I would like to try to announce it when he's on a hiatus. Maybe at the end of season 2, I'll try to just call a few games until he's back with season 3. But I kind of consider MLB The Show his baby. So, all right, here's Jake Delver. So just letting you guys know what's coming up. 2 down. Here is the pitch. And Jake Dalbert goes down swinging. However, the Brooklyn Robins pick up a run. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and it's 7-2 in favor of the Brooklyn Robins. Fielder Jones, Billy Sullivan, Lee Tannehill will bat here in the bottom of the 8th for Chicago. Marquard enjoying a 5-run lead. He's only struck out 1 batter, and Walsh has only struck out 2. So neither of these pitchers on their A game. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Fielder Jones. Jones swings on the 1-2 pitch, and this one will be lined right to Casey Stengel, and he has it for out number 1. Oh yeah, right, Carlos. Carlos, yeah, says the other thing he enjoys is reading up on some of these advertisers and the billboard in these games. Oh, absolutely, man. We had one the other, we had Bromo Seltzer the other day, and a nice touch. There was I guess it was one of the parks I'm using for the 19th century, and it was using for one of the Negro League parks, and it had an advertisement out on center field for one of the black newspapers at the time. I forget which one it is now, though. All right, here's Billy Sullivan. The catcher is nothing for 3. Here's Marquard's delivery. Billy Sullivan swings, and this one by short into left field. So Sullivan rolls one in there and gets a hit, and that is base hit number 10 for the Chicago White Sox in 1906. Here's Lee Tannehill now, 2 for 3. Sullivan with good speed off of first. Marquard checks the runner. The 2-2 pitch. The runner does not go. This one flared to left toward the foul line, and making the grab is Zach Wheat. So 2 down. Billy Sullivan remains at second for Gus Dundon. Dundon called upon to sacrifice a couple times today. He is 1 for 2. The 2-1. Dundon swinging away. Slow roller to third, but up with it in plenty of time. And Dundon is retired for out number 3. We go to the 9th. Brooklyn leads 7-2, and it will be the number 3, 4, 5 hitters, Zach Wheat, Casey Stengel, and George Cutshaw. Frank Smith will come on to pitch. Wrong. Frank Smith. Got to change that. Damn it. Frank Smith deals. The count full. And Zach Wheat bounces this one to short. And Zach Wheat will be retired for the first out. Here's Casey Stengel. Nothing for 4. Frank Smith into his wind. And the pitch. Stengel sends this one line to left. Base hit. So Casey picking up his first hit of the game here, and that is hit number 14 for the Brooklyn Robins, George Cutshaw. And there goes Stengel, and he is dead to rights. So Sullivan now 3 for 4 and gunning down base stealers. Base is empty, 2 away. Not that it's going to hurt Brooklyn very much. Smith with the 0-1 delivery. Swung on, and this one roller to short. And that is the inning. So Cutshaw retired. Brooklyn gets a hit and a caught stealing. Bottom of the 9th, Chicago has 5 runs to make up and 3 hitters to try to get it going. Frank Hemphill, probably see a pinch hitter for Frank Smith, and then Frank Isbell. Good God, we got 3 Franks. Let's be Frank. Rube Marquard with the 2-2 pitch. Hemphill swings and fly ball into right field. Going back is Casey Stengel. That one had some distance. 1 up, 1 down now. And we will see a pinch hitter now, Jiggs Donahue. So he's 1 for 7 on the season. Bats lefty. Lefty-lefty matchup. McCarty with the sign to Marquard. The payoff pitch to Jiggs Donahue. Donahue swings. This one rolled deep to second, and Cutshaw has it, throws on to Jake Dauber for the 4-3 putout. So we are back at the top of the order, and Frank Isbell. Isbell 1 for 4. Marquard with the 0-1 delivery. Isbell swings and sends this one out to left field, and Zach Wheat hustling makes the catch. So this one in the book, not an exciting one. That's not much of a recap. So the 1916 Robins starter Rube Marquard was in a groove as he led his team to a win over the 1906 White Sox 7-2 in 9 innings. Marquard surrendered 10 hits while striking out only 1 and walking nobody, allowed 2 runs. So the White Sox fall to 1-3. The Robins will improve to 2-2. Brooklyn relied on the hitting of Zach Wheat to pick up the win. The left fielder ripped a run-scoring triple in the top of the 3rd inning to put the Robins on top 2-1. For the game, Zach Wheat had a triple and a single in 5 at-bats. So your player of the game is Rube Marquard. And Ed Walsh gets tagged with a loss. He goes for 0-2. Frank Smith worked 1 inning in relief. Let's leave the game and let's quickly just sim out the other ones that we have to do. So going back to the 19th century, the 1875 Red Stockings and the 1884 Providence Grays, Cal McVeigh and Haas Radborn. Fairly regularly, Bernie. So Saturdays when I don't go out, I'll be doing earlier games in the evening. Saturday afternoon games when I can. Sunday I'll be going on earlier or in the afternoon. But yeah, sorry to say, pretty much Monday through Friday will be late games. So Jake Dalbert is definitely off to a good start. I know it's tough and yeah, not really a lot I can do about that. Afternoons are just, too many people, whatever going on. So, yep, Bernie. So if that makes it easier for you to plan your broadcasts, then I'm glad it works out that way. All right, here we go. We're going to quick play this one. And the Providence Grays shut out the 1880s or 1875 Red Stockings 2-0. So Old Haas gets the win. He goes to 1-0. Cal McVeigh falls to 1-1. So that was a good one. The Providence Grays 2 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. The 1875 Red Stockings, no runs, 7 hits, and 1 error. Now we move forward to the dead ball era. Funny to say that we move forward. The 1913 Senators against the 1919 Cincinnati Reds. Walter Johnson versus Jimmy Ring. The Reds at 1-2 right now, and the Senators at 2-1. And here we go. And the Reds take this one from the Senators 3-1. Ed Roush picked up a home run for the Reds. The Reds 3 runs, 6 hits, 5 errors. The Senators 1 run, 7 hits, and 1 errors. Walter Johnson falls to 0-2. Jimmy Ring improves to 2-0. All right, the 1916 Boston Red Sox against the 1902 Pittsburgh Pirates. This is Dutch Leonard versus Deacon Felipe. Let us quick play it. And the Red Sox edge the Pirates 6-5. Lots of hits in this game. Each team with 12 hits. The Pirates committing 6 errors. So 6-12-1 for these Red Sox, 5-12-6 for the Pirates. The Red Sox off to a hot start. They are 4-0 now. And the Pirates fall to 2-3. Hannes Wagner with a home run in this Red Sox Pirates matchup. And that concludes this day. So we can we'll look at these pitching matchups. So what do we have coming up? Anything super interesting? Jim McCormick out Worth could be a good one. The 1885 White Stockings, 1899 Phillies. Bobby Wallace actually will be making a pitching appearance for the Cleveland Spiders against the Alleghenies, but meh. Let me see. Brown Stockings, Bisons. Nothing really. If I guess it's going to be, we're going to probably do Jim McCormick and Outworth. So when we do our next 19th century game, in the dead ball era, boy, I almost want to just Ernie Shore, Jack Cheesebro could be good. Red Ames, Dutch Ruther. Tell you what I'm going to do, guys. We're going to go ahead and I think we're just going to quick play today. I think we're going to just go to quick play. There's just nothing here that strikes me fancy. Let you know. And then we'll finish up with the standings. All right, so The 1878 Reds defeat the 1876 Grays 4-2. So Mitchell getting the win, Pierce taking the loss. The 1899 Philadelphia Phillies defeat the 1885 Chicago White Stockings 19-2. Holy hell. Home runs in that game, Jim McCormick for Chicago and Napoleon Lajoie for Philadelphia. We got to look at the box score there. Holy hell. That is nuts. So 6 errors by the White Stockings. But let me see. Who got on the hit parade here for Philadelphia? Roy Thomas got to change his picture. Napoleon Lajoie each with 4 hits. Ed Delahanty with 3. Elmer Flick picked up 2. Dave Fultz had 2. Joe Dolan, the only person without a hit, it looks like for Philadelphia. Oh, no, Elmer Flick. I'm sorry, I was looking at runs scored. Elmer Flick, the only player not to have a hit for Philadelphia. Wow, crazy. And Outworth gets the win. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, let's go back. We'll just go back 1 page this way. Boop. There we go. Hell of a game. Jeez. You saw 25 runs somewhere? We'll see. So far, the biggest one's 19-2. All right, so the Providence Grays, look at them. Look at the Grays, yep. So the Grays improved to 2-1 as they take 2 from the 1875 Red Stockings, and they do it 8-1. Charlie Sweeney gets the win. Cousin Kenny improves to 1-1. Manning takes the loss. All right. The Alleghenies finally win a game. Now they're at 1-4. They defeat the Cleveland Spiders 5-3. Staley gets the win. Bobby Wallace takes the loss. The Spiders fall to 4-1. All right. The 1879 Bisons, there it is, 25-8 over the 1876 Brown Stockings, and 13 runs in the 8th inning. 13 runs. I don't have highlight reel turned on for this. Son of a bitch. I should have done that. Let's look at the game. Game log has not been stored. Can't do anything yet. We can. Well, let's just quickly. 25 runs on 24 hits and 6 errors. Holy moly. And not a single home run in that game, by the way. 13 runs. Yeah, and we can't watch the replay, so global settings, autosave. Yeah, I'm going to have to remember to turn that on. This is just absolutely nuts. So on the hit parade here for Buffalo, everybody got hits. Holy man. That is just crazy, crazy. We're not even going to worry about trying to do a recap of this one. Pud Galvin gets the win. Who is this? Is this? Yep, Herman Delman gets the loss. Wow, what a crazy game that is. How many pitchers in that game? I'm sorry. We can look at that really quickly. Glad to. And then I do have to... what does it tell you to do again? I forget. So it's global settings, autosave, and log settings. Okay. Anyhow, looking at the box score, because this would have been fun just to replay some night when we were just talking. How many pitchers in this game? Let me see. 1, 2, only 4. Pretty surprising. George Bradley got the hook after 3 2/3 for St. Louis, and then Delman came on and pitched 4 1/3, tagged with the loss. So crazy stuff. Yeah, you're right. Yep. So that would be Oscar Walker. 7 runs batted in. Crazy game. Imagine if we would have broadcast that one, gents. We would have been up all night. I would have been the only one here left, probably. All right. Anyhow, let's go past that craziness. Superbas edged the Wolverines 4-3. The 1894 Orioles 6-2 over the 1888 Giants. The Orioles now at 4-1. The Giants at 2-3. All right, moving in now to the dead ball era. The 1915 Philadelphia Phillies continuing their winning ways, 6-4 over the 1907 Tigers. The Phillies now at 4-1. The Tigers at 2-3. The 1910 Athletics, who we have yet to see in this league, improved to 3-2 by defeating the 1904 New York Islanders 11-3. Eddie Collins with a home run for the MacMen in that game. The 1908 Naps 5-4 over the 1918 Cubs. So the Cubbies are at 1-4. The Naps, with their win, improved to 3-0. The 1902 Pirates over the 1916 Red Sox 3-2. Chesbro getting the win, Shore taking the loss. The Bucks go to 3-2, and the Red Sox suffer their first defeat of the season, so they're at 4-1. The 1913 Senators 2-1 over the Reds. There's a good dead ball game for you. So Bowling gets the win, Dutch Ruther gets the loss, and no home runs in that game. 1914 Braves 4-1 over the 1905 Giants. Red Ames takes the loss, goes to 0-2. So the Giants off to a rough start at 1-4. The Braves at 4-1. That was unexpected so far, these miracle Braves. And finally, the 1906 Chicago White Sox 2-1 over the 1916 Robins. So let's have a look at review rotation and finish today. And we'll look at standings. And we will not play the game versus the White Stockings. We will just look at the standings very, very quickly. So, in the Radbourne division, the 1879 Reds 4-0, sole possession of first place. They are a half game up. Three-way tie for second between the 1895 Spiders, 1899 Superbas, and the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. In the Wagner division, the Cleveland Naps. It's kind of a percentage, but there's a four-way tie here. With four teams a game up. So that's going to be the Cleveland Naps, 1914 Braves, 1915 Phillies, 1916 Red Sox. So, and then they are one game up on the 1910 Athletics, the 1902 Pirates, and the 1913 Senators. So, and the rest of the standings you can see on your screen. Yeah, these stats are going to be awesome. And I'll tell you what, Cousin Ken, at this point, it's anybody's guess how this bad boy is going to play out. What I was thinking of doing, and let's do this. Let's just do this. Let's play this until. Let's play it out to June 4th. Let's let it play, and let's watch it play out. Scott Hastings diagnosed with a strained hamstring for Louisville. He'll be out for about 2 or 3 months. Okay. And let's go back to score or standings. And let's keep playing this out to June 4th. At Somerville. Okay. Let's go back to scores. Or not scores, standings. I love this, but I want to get to our next Ned McGreevy, which is why I want to just go ahead and play these through. Okay. Boy, Louisville getting hit. The 1876 Grays getting hit with a crap ton of injuries, guys. All right. Let's keep going here. And where are we now? May 20th, so we're getting close now. And that is it. All right, here we go. Now we're starting to see things shake out. All right, for the 19th century Radbourne division, at 43-14, it's the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. They are 2.5 games up on the 1899 Phillies. The Brooklyn Superbas at 40-17 and 3 games back. The 1888 Alleghenies, nice little surprise there. They are at 37-17, 4.5 out. The 1888 Giants, 33-22, 9 games back, along with the Detroit Wolverines, who are 34-23. The Cleveland Spiders, 30-27, 13 games back. Ken's Providence Grays, 28-27, 14 back, identical record with the Boston Red Stockings, who we thought were going to trounce, and they're just a game above 500. And they're coming off a 3-game skid. The 1897 Bisons are at 28-29. The Chicago White Stockings, 1885, underperforming as far as I'm concerned. They are 25-32, 18 games out of the race, with about 42 games to go in this season. The 1878 Reds, 22-31. The Worcester Ruby Legs are not in last place. They're 22.5 out at 19-35. The 1876 Brown Stockings, 7 wins, 50 losses, and the Louisville Grays getting decimated by injuries. 5 wins, 52 losses. They are 38 games out of first place. Yep. Yeah, Louisville getting killed. Louisville is getting killed with injuries. You guys saw those. I think we had 3 or 4 injuries pop up. So they won the Creators Cup 2. Now we move over to the Wagner side on Chris Slovic's channel, and they were in first place here. The 1902 Pittsburgh Pirates, 35-22. They're a game up. The Dead Ball League is tight, though. The Dead Ball Division, I should say. In second place, Cousin Ken, just a game back. The 1915 Philadelphia Phillies at 34-23. The 1914 Miracle Braves at 32-25, just 3 games out of first. 2 teams, 4 games out of first. The 1916 Robins and the 1905 Giants, 30-25, 31-26, respectively. 5 games out. The 1908 Naps and the 1913 Senators. The 1906 White Sox and 1910 Athletics, 6 games back. The 1916 Red Sox, 6.5 out. The 1907 Tigers, 7 back. Then we start hitting the double digits. The 1918 Cubs at 10 back. The Highlanders, 10.5 back. The 1919 Reds, 13 out. The 1918 Yankees, no surprise there. They're pretty much, I'd say, they're cooked. But in the Wagner division, it's anybody's game. Not that it's over in the 19th century, certainly. I think you have 4 teams still in it, and we're just a little over halfway through this season. The 1919 Reds, a bit of a surprise. Yeah, they are. But Cousin Ken, my Bucks and your Phillies, and the Red Sox in this race too. So good stuff. Good stuff. So fun to play this one out. I'm so glad we put it together. Still got a little ways to go with it. So if you want to see any stats or anything, guys, before we shut it down, let me know. If not, we'll go ahead and call it a broadcast. I do want to show you guys, very, very close race in the Wagner division. One thing I do want to show you guys now that we do have some of the season played through, and we'll use we'll use Ken's 1915 Phillies. All right, so if we go here to the Phillies, we can see that Beauty Bancroft is leading in batting average for 351 for these Phillies. But what I want to show you, which is really super mega cool in this, is his BNN page. So you can see everything a player has done. All right, so there's his game log for the last 10 games, and you can go in and look at those. But here you can see what he's done in this season up to now. So how did he do last week? April, May, spring training, career, home, road, grass, day, night. As if he was a pitcher, as a starter, whatever, substitution, pinch hitter, closer, late. What did he do in innings 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, extra innings, no outs, 1 outs, 2 outs, runners in scoring position, bases empty, runner in first, runner in second, runner in third, runners in first and third, second and third, bases loaded, 2 strikes, first pitch, the count, behind an account, head an account, batting leadoff, batting second, sixth, ninth, leverage, medium leverage, high leverage. This is great, great, great stuff, and you can do this for any player during a replay. Yeah, the BNN page is killer. Is killer, 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 killer. Okay, so you want league leaders, Cousin Ken? All right, let's go to the CML and let's look at what I want to look at here is the league home. All right, here we go. Ed Delahanty leads in batting average. Holy moly, are you kidding me? 517. Nap Lajoie at 477. Huey Jennings at 438. Gavin Kravitz leading in home runs. So Philadelphia doing it with the stick here with 12. Cap Anson with 10. Ed Delahanty with 9. Ed Delahanty with 83 RBI. Wee Willie Keeler with 69. Joe Kelly with 65. Stolen bases, Mike Tiernan has 33. Fred Dunlap and Paul Hines each with 28. Pitching leaders, earned run average, Ed Morris for the Bucks, 1.44. Sorry, I don't know this guy's name. Hank Thormalen and Tim Keefe, 1.55, 1.58. Kid Gleason with 16 wins. Pud Galvin and Jay Hughes, each with 15 wins. Wrong pitcher here of Bobby Mitchell. Bobby Mitchell has fanned 110, George Bradley 101, and Bill McGonigal has struck out 83. Saves, I don't really worry about this. And then we have down here team batting leaders for, against, runs scored. The Philadelphia Phillies have scored 500. The 1899 Phillies have scored 598 runs thus far in this game. The Washington Senators, the fewest runs scored against them at 169. The 1899 Philadelphia Phillies batting as a team 374. White Stockings are with 42 home runs as a team, again, as you would expect. So, you can also, this gets deep, guys. Milestones in this game. So Dan Bruthers, right? So for 2,000 hits, he just needs 56 more hits, and this will tell you just where he is. It's just awesome. What can I say? How can you hate a game like that just goes this deep? It's just crazy. We can look at here. Look at upcoming events, of course, things like that. We can do leaderboards for just the Castro League. So if we look just at the 19th century, we can look there. We can look at the McGregor League, which is the dead ball. Run differential for Louisville. Let's go back to the standings. And I think we have to do expanded. All right, so you're saying for Louisville, for the Grays, their run differential is negative 556. For the Brown Stockings, it's negative 835. Holy hell. That's why I like the classic view in the game. You get all the situational stats with players that bat. Yeah. I agree. I like, for me though, for calling a game, I like the class or the modern view, but I get it. I do get it. Yeah, this is really, really crazy. So let's see who has the biggest run differential in this crazy thing right now in the Radbourne. That's going to be the 1899 Phillies, 300 positive 320 or 322. So the dead ball league definitely, or the dead ball division definitely not as crazy. This 19th century one, in fact, only the bottom 4 teams are negative as far as differential goes. So a lot of fun here to be had. Reports and info. I've never looked at this one. Oh, look at this. There we go. Now we can get into the really, really deep stuff here. Game performance rankings. So there's things I've never looked at in here. This is how deep this game is. So you can get the top performances for batters, the top 25. So again, you're getting into kind of action PC territory here. Lots going on to study. Do I have game scores for the 1876 Brown Stockings? I believe so. Let's go to here, and then we go for the Brown. That's what you want, Brown Stockings, right? All right, 1876. Just give me a sec here to figure out how to do that. How do I do that? I know there's a way you can see it. It's not info. Reports. God, I have no idea, cousin, how to do this. I know there's a way. I know there's a way. Ah, well, we got to do it that way. Wow. So yeah, you can see going all the way, but you can see all the screws. We have to do it that way. So there's got to be a way. Oh, do we have a no-hitter? Really? Yeah, I'm on the schedule now, Carlos. So there we go. Holy hell. Look at that. So you look at May for these Brown Stockings. Their last win was May 12th. So let's go into June. So May 12th, keep that in mind. And we're about to start June 4th. So they haven't won. And I know I could have just looked at that in the standings, but they are in a huge losing streak. Wow. Yep. Getting killed, getting killed. I should take a screenshot of this. But I think there's an easier way to look at the scores. I just don't know how. So what was that again? That was game settings. Oh my God. Is it league settings? Because I really do want to save these and kind of look at a few of these, and I forget how to do it now. Shit. Oh well, doesn't matter. A 36 run game, 31. Wow. You guys are seeing stuff I'm not even seeing here. Let's go back. This was a 27-2 shellacking. Lost 18. They're losing big. They are losing. I mean, these aren't even close games. These guys are getting murdered. Oh, look at this. Look at these scores. There you go. There's a 36-19 game. The Brown Stockings are just poor guy. 31-0. Yeah, no kidding, huh? Okay, there was a normal loss, 6-3. These guys are getting killed. 28-7. 32-6. Wow. Yeah, just nuts. These poor guys. Jeez. Okay, so George Bradley's leading the team in earned run average at 9.35, and then second is Dickie Pierce at 23.92. These Brown Sox. These were one of the ringers, though, right? This is one of the ringers team. The Ruby Legs. I mean, they're not even getting killed as badly, are they? I mean, they're down there, but Worcester at least is at 19-35. But these poor Browns, 7 wins, 50 losses. Okay, so yeah, these guys are one of the ringers. Thought so. Lip Pike, though, he's batting .351, cousin. Has 4 home runs, 40 runs batted in. Mike McGeary has 22 steals. So yeah, the 1800s. Got to remember, Bernie, that there was like just so many things in flux. But the thing that's difficult about this is too that this game is still using. It has to use 1893 rules and on. But yeah, in the 1870s, you would have some Alabama ass kickings. But the game is trying to adjust. So we do have to kind of suspend disbelief. But these guys were not a good team. We can bring up. Well, actually, there's no use bringing up Baseball Reference. You guys won't be able to see it because of the way out of the park baseball takes priority over everything. But I want to set this because here's the reason, guys. The reason I want to set this, let's go back a day, because there might be some games we actually want to look at a highlight reel. All right. So global settings, autosave, and log settings. All right. So game settings, global settings. Where's that autosave business? Once a year. Daily is, I think, what I want, right? Save game logs from all teams. Save replays. There we go. From all leagues. And store replays in pitch by pitch mode. We're going to leave that in one pitch mode. Generate highlights for all. There. Now we'll be able to keep news logs for, let's just do all and all. I always forget to set this. I'm not going to worry about transition logs. Okay. So moving forward now, these will all be saved. So if we ever want to go back and do highlight reels, we can do that. I would not want to imagine 37-2 game, cousin. Oh man, oh my God. But it would be fun some night to just talk about. And Ken, we can get you in earlier in the night where we can go and talk about rules changes through the 19th century. Until 1893, things were just changing all the time. Pitching distances, pitch counts, how certain things were defined in the field. And Ken is going to be certainly the expert. I could certainly break out the David Nemec Encyclopedia, but Ken, Ken's our 19th century man here. So, announcers will be discussing the best real mowers for lawn mowing sims. Ken, absolutely right. So, I wish I had, because it'd be fun for one of those nights. It's like, let's just talk baseball and we'll put on a game that was either close, like the Keefe no hitter would have been fun to just watch the Keefe no hitter while we're talking baseball. But unfortunately, now it's not saved. So let's look at the really quickly. There we go, 19th century baseball.com. Now, I never knew about this site. Wow. Cousin Ken. How come I never knew about this site? Well, this one gets dragged over so I can get lost in this one. Boop. There we go. All right. Nice site. Nice site. Has a reproduction of the first table game ever made. So cool. Well, guys, I hope you're having fun with this one. I'm having a blast. I am having a blast with this. Jeez. It's just insane. Just insane. You get weekly power rankings, by the way, and there you go. Look, there. I always forget about this. Down here, nice little touch. Your little banner going by the bottom of the screen. You guys will see it here in a minute. There it is. All the rule changes are on that site. Awesome, Ken. So it's a pretty looking site too. So this is a fun league. A nice precursor to McGreevy 2. And I'm really wanting to do McGreevy 2 in this one. So I think we will. No, I did not know about that 19th century page, man. Thank you so much. Hey, D. Scott, how you doing? Yep, you got power rankings, Carlos Yaz, and these are weekly power rankings. So right now, the 1894 Baltimore Orioles are first. We can read more. We go to read more. Look at this. So this is for all 30 teams and their power rankings. From the St. Louis Brown Stockings at the bottom, Baltimore Orioles at the top. Let's see, league reports. Well, we already looked at league reports, but we can get super deep into that. There's a league newspaper. Look at this. Now, how cool is this? There, you people that hate this game, and I know it's nobody in here, but yeah, me too, cousin, hyped up from McGreevy. People that don't like this game. It's not a serious baseball sim. Come on. Come on. There's all these highlights that we can go to. I mean, this is brilliant. Look at this, page 2. Look, there's pages and pages. I mean, this is awesome. Right? I wish people didn't hate on this game. I just, this is amazing. Look, you can read more, right? So, Star of the Week awarded in major leagues today. Pittsburgh 1902. Fans had a lot to cheer about this week. A shortstop, Hannes Wagner, brought home the McGregor League Player of the Week trophy during his week-long batting binge. He reeled off a 662 batting average, blah, blah, blah. Read more. I can click on these, and so there I can see just, yeah, come on. Come on. This is serious. You get a league newspaper. You go to the new. There's this whole news listing. Look at this thing. We can go back through the whole season. You want to geek out? Do it. There it is. Filter all messages. We can go to accomplishments, major awards, minor awards, injury news. Just Baseball News Network. There it is. Walks aplenty. Mitchell has trouble with command. We can see what that game was. So Bobby Mitchell. In today's outing, 1876 Red starting pitcher Bobby Mitchell really had trouble finding the strike zone. The command was off. So we could actually go back and look at that game if we wanted to. Look, you can write and edit news. We could write all kinds of stuff here. We could put player and team links in here if we wanted to. Good God, this thing's insane. Yep. I think I do too. I mean, I always felt myself pretty good with this game, but I had no idea about this. This is crazy. Oh, we have an all-star game. We have an all-star game. I'll be damned. We do have an all-star game. How about this? There it is. We can play. We are going to play an all-star game. We will play the all-star game in this thing. I forgot all about that. So there you go, guys. And I don't know. I mean, Cousin Ken, you get a pass. You get a pass because you're purely cards and dice. But I don't know. I mean, I know we play what we love, but when I hear people saying this isn't a serious baseball sim, you got to be kidding me. Look at the way this tracks everything, and the way the way it does the write-ups, and it'll just put in these quotes and stuff like that. This is such a great baseball game. Love it. Love it. So, top right, fan voting. Did I miss something here? Final year. Oh, I must have missed something there, Cousin Ken. I'm sorry. Back a page or two. Yeah, I remember voting too. Kind of gave up on that. Is it page 3? Shit, I don't know. Is it league events? Oh, all-star voting begins. Here it was. Um, do I want to edit? No, I don't want to do that. Just, I don't know how to find it. Like, if it shows the voting or whatever. Yeah, there is a home run challenge in this. Um, basically, it's like it's the only touch of arcade in this game. You basically, I guess, smack the space bar. So you actually do take part in the home run challenge yourself. So a little nod there. Why not? Right? But yeah. Cousin, I believe you have this game, don't you? I could actually send this league to you and you could play around with it. But I don't remember. I thought you had it. Maybe you don't. So I don't know how. So this is in June, which is where we are. So this must keep a newspaper running every day, every day, every day. Okay, you have 23. This is available in 23. Oh, this won't play in 23, unfortunately. But you have this feature in 23 if you ever want to mess with it, anyhow. Or just wait and pick up 24 when it goes top right on this page. Oh, there it goes. It's final. Oh, let's look at it. Read more. Thanks, cuz. Um, oh, it's showing retirements. How do I see? Shit, how do I see that? We got to see it. Buck Ewing. How do I read this? Ed Delahanty received 145,000 votes. Oh, come on, it's got to be somewhere. I'll have to find it. I have no idea where it is, but it's here somewhere. I just don't know where it is. Yeah, I don't know where it is. It's here somewhere. I can't find it. Oh well. We'll find out on All Star Game. League events. Yeah, but the problem is it doesn't let me. This is something that's not clickable. Be careful when editing events. Only use at your own risk. So I can't. Yeah, see, these aren't clickable. Unfortunately, nothing here is clickable. I can't read them, which sucks. There's got to be a way to do it. I just don't know how. Yeah, I don't know. Oh wait, maybe it's in here. Except I forget when the voting began. What's this? Yeah. Oh well, guys, I have no idea. Can't find it right now. So what we're looking for, but oh, you're most welcome, cousin Ken. D. Scott Howard says, click catcher above Ewing. I'll try that. Nothing. Yeah, it unfortunately is not clickable, so I don't know. Um, yeah, I have no idea how to do this. It's got to be in there somewhere. This is when I wish Mike. Well, actually, Mike Sullivan might not even be aware of this being in here. So, Tampa had the lowest playoff attendance in 104 years today. Only 19,000, or a little over 19,000. That's sad. The last lower playoff was Game 7 in 1919. Jeez. That's, well, it's Tampa Bay, man. They just got to move that club. There's Jesse Tannehill, guys, by the way. We were talking about Tannehill's earlier. There you go. There's Jesse. Jesse. And his real life stats. Pretty damn good pitcher. This game you could just so geek out and get lost in. It's crazy. So, all right, gentlemen, thank you very much. And I'm so glad you guys hung out with me tonight. The hardcore is in here, man. See, you know what I'm missing? There's got to be, because here I can look at the like batting leaders a catcher, and if I click read more, I have to figure out how to read these reports, how it generates them. So I'm curious how many pages. Holy shit. Okay, so it does go backwards. The further back you go, you can actually read through your whole league, which is nice. Tampa Bay improved a new ballpark. Well, maybe that will help. Yep. All right. My thanks to Cousin Ken Castro, the heart and soul of this channel, to Bernie Strom. Awesomeness. He's got a game coming up tomorrow at 1 o'clock. World Series. It will be 1967 alternate World Series. Boston Red Sox, San Francisco Giants. Game 1 at Fenway Park. Be there. And love it all. Carlos Yaz, thank you. D. Scott Howard, our animal whisperer, was hanging out with us in the ballpark tonight. I think that's pretty much it. Carlos, thanks again, man. Yeah, definitely some hardcore folks. Clinton Parks was here. Thank you, Clinton. Bernie Strom, first in the ballpark tonight. Small chat, but a good one. All right, guys. Enjoy October baseball, and maybe around tomorrow night. Not sure yet. If we are, we'll continue with something or other. Okay, until then, see you guys around the batting cage. And for Cousin Ken, go Phillies. All right, good night, guys.